What if you could use automated text and email reminders to solve all your client onboarding issues, and all built in under an hour? I'm Lindsay Gonzalez, and every week I show you how to build real world AI and automation solutions that save you time and money and make you money. In this build of the week, I'll walk you through an automated text and email workflow to solve wasted time during client onboarding. So hit the like button, subscribe, and let's dive into the build. Okay, I just set my timer for 1 hour. You can see the time up here is 9:31 a.m. So let's get our prompt. So I run a small coaching business. I do career and leadership coaching, and most of my clients book sessions with me through Calendly, which is great. But here's the problem. After they book, I send them a little intake form on Typeform to fill out before we meet. And honestly, half of them don't do it, or they say they didn't see it, which means our first session ends up being half wasted just gathering that info. What I really want is, as soon as someone books on Calendly, their info goes into a Google Sheet so I can track them. They automatically get the Typeform link emailed to them right away. And then if they haven't filled it out within 24 hours, they get a polite reminder email or maybe even a text. That would save me so much time chasing people down and make me look way more professional. All right, so we have n8n open. So let's think through how this is going to flow. So we know that we need Calendly and Typeform. And so the trigger is going to be Calendly. So I'm going to actually sign into my Calendly account. Okay, and then I'm also going to go to Typeform since we know we need that. All right, so let's head back over to n8n. I'm going to call this Calendly Typeform follow-up. Okay, so let's look at the prompt again. So most people book sessions through Calendly, and then we want to send them a Typeform via email. Okay, so the first step is we need to look for Calendly on here, and we want to do on event created. I need to set up a credential. So I'm going to need my client ID and client secret from Calendly. So let me head back over there and look for that. Maybe it's in the admin center. All right, I'm not finding it immediately, so I'm just going to save some time and ask ChatGPT. How can I find my client ID and secret for Calendly? And do I need a paid plan for these? Okay, so go to Calendly developer portal. We do not need a paid plan, so that's awesome. Click applications, create. We're going to use this link for our redirect URL. Okay, so let's head to the developer portal. And I'm going to log in with my Calendly account. Okay, so I'm going to create a new app. I'm going to call this Calendly Typeform Demo. It's going to be web. I'm going to say it's production, and then the redirect is this, save and continue. And here's my client ID and my client secret. So I'm going to copy these over to n8n. Okay, and then I'm going to click save. And my credential is successfully created. Good to go. So we can leave that as user, event created. All right, so we have our trigger in place. Okay, let me go back to the prompt. Okay, so I send them a little intake form on Typeform to fill out before we meet, and half of them don't do it or they didn't see it. So we need to send an email with the Typeform. So I'm coming back over here to Typeform, and I'm just going to get my account set up. And I'm just going to build a super quick form with AI. So I'm sending this to new clients to get information about them for our coaching calls. Let's see. Go back to our prompt, career and leadership coaching. I do career and leadership coaching. So I want to know the basics of where they are currently and where they would like to be. I want it to be 5 questions long, multiple line responses. 5 questions long. We'll leave it at that. Okay, continue. Questions or topics. Current state, desired state, current bottlenecks or pain points, income goal in 1 year, and current role. That should be good. And about my business, I do leadership and career coaching to help my clients reach their career goals. Alrighty, so while that is cooking up, I'm going to go back over here. So what I'm going to want to do is send this via email. And we want that to happen automatically. So I'm going to send this via Gmail. And let me move this out of the way. And I want to send a message. And I'm not sure what emails I have currently connected, so I'm going to go ahead and connect another email. Okay, so I will allow all those permissions. All right. So we are successful, and I'm going to name this Automate AI Consulting Gmail and click Save. Okay, so message send, I'm going to send it to, so this is going to be dynamically mapped by whoever it is that books the appointment. I'm going to have the subject line be important. Please complete this ASAP. And then the message, let's go back over to ChatGPT. And I'm just going to take this first paragraph and feed it in ChatGPT. Please help me craft an HTML formatted email to send automated emails with the type form from n8n. Is a placeholder for the client name and my name. All right, so let's come back over to Typeform. So this is our Typeform that was created. Let's see if there's anything that we need. So this is all fine. This looks good. So I'm going to click share. I'm going to publish that. And then I'm going to grab that link because we'll be using it in our workflow. So I'll just copy that and I'm going to take it over to n8n. I'm just going to leave it here as a placeholder for now. All right. So now prepare for our coaching session. Thanks for booking. Da 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 da. Okay. So I'm going to copy this. I want this to be more simple. Please remove all formatting that is not one of the following: bold, italic, space, new line, new paragraph. I want this to be really basic. I need you to put the HTML tag so I can copy and paste it in n8n. Okay, there we go. All right, so copy this, come back over to n8n. I'm going to paste this, open this up so we can see. Paste that in there. I'm going to take my Typeform link and I'm going to put it right here. Okay, and then I'll need to dynamically map the client name, and my name will always be the same. I'm just going to put my name, which is Lindsay Gonzalez. Obviously, I would be making this for the business owner in question, but just for the sake of simplicity, we'll use my name. Okay, we'll click save. You can close this. Okay, and I'm just going to leave my Calendly app open in case we have any issues. My Typeform, I'm going to leave that open in case we have any issues. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just set this up so that I can get some test data in here. So I'm going to take my actual Calendly link that I have connected to the workflow, and I'm going to create a test event. Okay, unable to sign without access token. Let's see what's going on. Oh, I see. I have to click connect my account and then connect to Calendly. Lesson learned. Always wait for it to say account connected. Now let's try listening for our test event. Okay, so it's listening. I'm going to book an appointment with myself. Okay, and I'm just going to put my own phone number in here. I'm going to click schedule. Oh my goodness, it wasn't listening before. Okay. Let me come back and book another test event. Okay, let me make sure. Okay, let's click execute step, make sure it's listening. All right, and now I'm going to schedule it. Okay, so I'm scheduled. Cool. So now it pulled everything in. All right, and now I can dynamically map who it's going to and the client name. So I want this to go to this email address. So I'm going to drag that over. And then I have my HTML body. And then I'm going to delete this placeholder and add in the real client name, which I can get right here. Hi, Lindsay. Okay, cool. And I always like to turn off the append n8n attribution just so that this seems more human, more professional. Okay, so now it's set to send a message as soon as that is triggered. After they book, I send them a little intake form to fill out before we meet. And then what I really want is as soon as somebody books on Calendly, their info goes into a Google Sheet so I can track them. And then they automatically get the Typeform link emailed to them right away. So we need to add a Google Sheet. Okay, so we're going to actually I'm going to come over here and make a new spreadsheet, and this is going to be called Client Calls. And then the headers are going to be their name, email, date of call, and then intake form completed. Okay. And I'm going to change the permissions on this so that anyone with the link can edit. All right. So now let's come back over to n8n and we're going to, okay, and then we're going to come to Google Sheets and append a row in a sheet. Okay, and I'm going to create a new credential, select all, and hook up my account, and I'm going to name this Automate AI Consulting Google Sheets and save. Okay, so the sheet within document, append row. The document is client calls, and it's just the only sheet that's in there. Okay, so I want to send the name. So name, email, the date of the call. Okay, so the start time is the date of the call. And then whether or not the intake form is completed. So that we're going to leave blank because that's going to be fed by Typeform. Okay, let's come back to the prompt. So as soon as somebody books, it goes to Google Sheet so I can track them, automatically get the Typeform link, and then if they haven't filled out within 24 hours, they get a polite reminder email or maybe even a text. Okay, so now we need to track when people fill out the Typeform. Okay, so I copied the link, and what I need to do, let me see here. So I think this is going to need to be two separate workflows. So just for the sake of simplicity, I'm going to build it right in here. I'm going to add another trigger. Oops. And it's going to be Typeform. I'm going to create a new credential because I don't know what that other account is. Ooh, and I see that they have a Google Sheets integration. Let's take a look at that. Where do you want to send your responses? I want to use an existing sheet. Paste the URL here. Connect. But while I'm waiting, let's go to ChatGPT and just get the quick version of where can I find my Typeform access token. Okay, profile settings, personal tokens. Oh, here we go. Personal tokens. my new token, n8n demo, all scopes is fine, and generate. I'm going to copy this, and I'm just going to set this up just in case for now. And click save. Okay, that's connected. Okay, so my branded type form is the form that I created. So I'm going to connect it to that. But I am still curious about integrating Google Sheets. I'm not sure if this added or not, but I'm about at my halfway point to do this in an hour. Okay, my branded type form. You know what? I think that this is going to be more trouble than it's worth because I don't want to record all of the questions that come in necessarily automatically. I just want to mark off, did they complete it or did they not? And so that's going to be very, very straightforward. I don't want to have to worry about, any of the questions coming through. Okay. So I'm going to connect that type form trigger to the same Google Sheets. And I want to update a row in a sheet because this person will already exist in there. So I'm just updating it with a yes or a no. Okay, so this is going to client calls. Oh, it looks like it's going to automatically respond. It's going to automatically record the responses on a separate sheet. So that is kind of good to know. But I want to match it on, let's keep it on email. Okay, now what I'm going to do, because I do need to get some test data in here, is I'm going to need to fill out my own type form. Okay, so I'm going to copy that link. Okay, and I'm going to fill this out, and then before I hit submit, I need to before I hit submit, I will need to listen for the test event over in n8n so I can get that data in there. So let me come back over here and listen for that test event. I'll just go back over before I hit the final submit button, make sure it's still listening. $1 million or lack of automation and AI integration. Desired state or goal, promotion to CEO. I'm a regional VP. Okay, it's still listening, so I hit submit. Okay, so I got the data coming through here, so that's awesome. So I actually don't need all of that information because all I want to do is map the email because I'm using that to match. So I'm going to scroll down and drag over the email here. And I'm going to actually come over here and put this test data in here just to test this step. jane@example.com was the email that I used. I don't remember the date of the call, but it's not important because we're not messing with that field or using it for reference. And all we want to do is mark whether the intake form was completed, yes or no. And I'm going to delete these other fields because we don't care about those. And then was the intake form completed? We're going to just say yes. And now I'm going to execute this step. And what we should see is this turns to a yes, which is perfect. And then what I want to do, so if they haven't filled it out within 24 hours, they get a polite reminder email or maybe even a text. Okay, so if they haven't filled it out within 24 hours, we are going to harass them again by sending them another email. So I'm just going to duplicate this. And let me come back over to my ChatGPT and ask it for a follow-up template. Perfect. Now please create another version that serves as follow-up so that if they haven't filled out the form within 24 hours, it will remind them, here is the actual email template I am using. Please keep the dynamically mapped variables. Okay, then I'm just going to come over here, copy and paste this. I'm going to change the subject while I'm in here. Reminder. Okay, so I'm going to come back over and paste in what we actually have so that we're not having to redo the same work per se. So we have the actual type form linked in there. Okay, so I'm going to update with this. And I need to change this dynamic mapping. So we can keep the type form link the same, but I do want to grab the first name so that it be dynamically mapped for this trigger event, which is the type form trigger. Perfect. And then I want to update it with the email as well. So we're going to grab that from the type form module. And then I'm going to click save. Okay, so now what I want to do is add a wait step. So it's going to wait 24 hours. And then I'm going to add an if node. And basically I'm going to come in here and pin this output from the type form trigger. But basically what I want to do is, if this is blank or no, then it's going to send a follow-up email. So just for a second, I'm going to remove that wait step so I can get the data right here. Okay. So if the intake form completed is equal to yes, then that is true. We're going to disconnect that from sending an email. If it's true, they have completed it, we don't want to send them a follow-up. This client seems to be really concerned about looking professional. And so we want to make sure that they're not, clients aren't receiving emails they shouldn't be. So if it is false, meaning that they haven't filled out the intake form, that's when it will send that follow-up message to them. Okay. So now that we know that that is mapped and works, we can re-add this wait step in. So basically, to recap what will happen here, the type form gets submitted. It updates this sheet within Google Sheets. And what it's updating is matching by email. And then it's updating this with a yes. That's all that's going on with this Google Sheets module right here. Then it's going to wait 24 hours. And if that box is not marked as yes, meaning that there was no type form trigger, meaning they haven't filled out that type form, then it will send that follow-up message. Okay, let me move my head out of the way. Okay, and then she also mentioned, or he or she, didn't give a gender, but get a polite reminder or maybe even a text. That would save me so much time and make me look professional. So we're just going to follow this up with a Twilio node. I already have my Twilio account connected, but we're going to send an SMS message. Okay, so I'm going to add my Twilio number in here. And I'm just going to delete or disconnect the Gmail node just momentarily, just so I can get the direct mapping over to my SMS from Twilio node. So from the type form, I can get their phone number, which is just this fake phone number here, this example 555 number. And I want the message to say, hey, name, it's Lindsay from Automate AI Consulting. Just a friendly reminder to fill out your survey before our scheduled call. Here's the link. Chat soon. And then come back over and grab this link from ChatGPT. Put the link in here, and we are good to go with the message. Okay, so now that that is mapped, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect this, add the email back in, reconnect this to the Twilio node and save. And then I need to separate these two workflows out. So I'm going to open up another n8n workflow, create a new workflow, and this is going to be Calendly type form follow-up 2. All right, and then all I'm going to do is take this second group here and copy and paste it into here, and voila. Okay, and then I can unpin that data. All right, so let's make sure that we hit up all of the items that this mock client wanted. So I run a small coaching business. My clients book sessions through Calendly. After they book, I send them a little intake form on Typeform to fill out, and half of them do it or they say they didn't see it, which means our first session is a waste. So I want, as soon as someone books on Calendly, their info goes into a Google Sheet so I can track them, which we have here. They automatically get the Typeform link emailed to them right away, which happens right here in this first workflow. Here's the link. And then if they haven't filled it out within 24 hours, they get a polite reminder email or maybe even a text. That would save me so much time. So if we come into our second workflow, so if they fill out the type form, that's going to trigger the update in Google Sheets so that when she's tracking, he or she is tracking the coach in this instance, then they will know that that person has filled out the type form. It's going to wait 24 hours. And if they have not filled out the type form, meaning if this does not show as yes, they're going to receive a follow-up email and a friendly text reminder telling them, hey, be sure to do this before our call. And according to my clock, we still have about 10 minutes to spare. If you look up here, it's now 10:21 a.m. And that's how you build client onboarding automations in under an hour, turning your time-consuming manual follow-up processes into a full-fledged onboarding assistant. If you want to learn how to build more automations like this, click the first link down in the description and join the community. And if you're a business owner that wants me to build something like this for you, click the second link down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss next week's build. And thanks for watching. I will see you on the next video.